Right Honorable Speaker of Reconstituted National Transitional Legislative Assembly, Honorable Minister of Gender, Child and Social Welfare in their absentia, Her Excellency the Deputy Governor of Eastern Equatoria, the representative of Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, Right Honorable Speakers and Ministers from the states, national and state MPs, UNIMIS Anpol Commissioner, international and national NGOs, women and men in uniform, with protocol observed, good afternoon or morning. As I stand here looking at all of us and considering women that are not present, but whose interests are represented, what comes to mind is that we have different stories about our journeys, struggles, successes, and goals in life. Although we come from diverse backgrounds in regards to race, color, place of origin, age, language, religion, and political affiliations, one thing in common is that we are all women. This platform is an opportunity that has brought us together as women to collectively discuss and address issues that have been obstacles to our progress, find ways to enhance our participation politically, economically, socially, and culturally, and advance our leadership in a way that it contributes towards peace and security that will give hope to our generation and generations to come. South Sudan has gone through a series of wars, such as the First Sudanese Civil War of 1955 to 1972, between the northern and southern regions of Sudan, the Second Sudanese Civil War of 1983 to 2005, between the Central Sudanese government and the People's Liberation Army movement. As you all know, the second conflict was a continuation of the first conflict, which 6 years later culminated in the independence of South Sudan in 2011. During those wars, women played vital roles as they fought in the battlefields, distributed military supplies to the soldiers, aided the soldiers with food, gave them moral support, became civilian volunteers as teachers, nurses, among others, and most importantly, raised families. Most women experience devastating effects of conflicts such as hunger, poverty, trauma, sexual-based violence, physical and mental abuse, among other things. In addition to that, most of them, along with families, were displaced within the country, while many went abroad to the neighboring countries of Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Sudan, as well as the United States of America, Canada, and Australia, among others. Unfortunately, women and girls continue to suffer the aftermath of the Civil War, and efforts put forth by the government and its partners are to address the myriad of challenges they face. Moreover, the conflicts of 2013 and 2016 within South Sudan between the government forces and the rebel groups continued communal violence and revenge killings and abduction of children and women in some parts of the country have weighed heavily on women, children, and the elderly, among other vulnerable groups. Therefore, without strong collaboration, gains in advancement of women could be eroded. At the moment, Women's rights in South Sudan have advanced, and for that we must take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Sudan, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, and the government of South Sudan for showing total commitment to the revitalized peace agreement that requires a 35% women representation in all government sectors. Prior to that, the allocated 25% affirmative action, which had been stipulated in the CPA in 2005. This ensured the advancement of human rights, and for that we thank our late leader, Dr. John Garang Mabior, and those who involved at the time. We, the women of South Sudan, are honored. It is important to note that since the signing of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan in 2018, and the formation of the revitalized transitional government of national unity in South Sudan in 2020, women have held or are holding key positions that would otherwise never have gone to them under any normal circumstances. Examples of those positions include South Sudan's Vice President for Gender and Youth Cluster, Right Honorable Speaker of Transitional National Legislative Assembly, Deputy Speaker for Council of States, Ministries of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Interior, Foreign Affairs, State Governors and Deputy Governors, Deputy Governor of Central Bank, Army Generals and first-grade ambassadors. More and higher political positions are expected in the future. Unlike in the past, more women are educated to the level of PhDs, and not to mention the bachelor's and master's degrees. With all that education and some work experience, only some are able to find and maintain the right jobs due to personal, family, and public challenges. I can attest to it that in most cases, unlike our counterparts, those high positions, like some that I held at the state level, come with high prices, whereby to be recognized, accepted, and appreciated by the public as competent, women have to work extra hard and prove beyond any reasonable doubt that they deserve the positions. However, more needs to be done in the public sector, where civil servants' top positions such as undersecretaries, director generals, and directors are more held by men, while the majority of women are in low-paying jobs such as secretaries, clerks, messengers, and cleaners. Women of South Sudan are lucky because of the affirmative action and immense support from our male counterparts. More so, we are benefiting from global and regional treaties of agreement, like the United Security Council Resolution 1325, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, the Sustainable Development Goal of Gender Equality, and Maputo Protocol. First of all, the United Security Council Resolution 1325 on Women, Peace and Security linked women's peace and security concerns to the overall peace and security efforts. It was anonymously adopted by the UN Security Council on October 31st, 2000, with 4 thematic pillars in areas of participation, protection, prevention, and relief and recovery. All these present opportunities to ensure that the security concerns and issues of women are addressed in a gender-sensitive manner. According to the United Nations, it addresses the impact of war on women and the importance of women's full and equal participation in conflict resolution, peace building, peacekeeping, humanitarian response, and in the post-conflict reconstruction. Secondly, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women was adopted by the UN and is often described as an international bill of rights for women. Out of 186 and 193 countries that have ratified the treaty, South Sudan government is the latest country to do so. Thirdly, and finally, Maputo Protocol, also the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the Rights of Women in Africa, was adopted by Second Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the Union, Maputo, Mozambique, in 2003, and entered into force on 25th November 2005. Generally speaking, women should not only be seen as helpless victims, but leaders in various areas who should be given the space to articulate and amplify their voices. We should be in leadership positions and partner with men to effectively contribute to reconstructing South Sudan now and beyond. This is possible if women inclusion is prioritized at every stage of the peace process, empowerment through capacity building, advocating for girls' education, offering adults education, providing kindergarten services to mothers in workplaces, microfinancing their small businesses to be self-reliant, building alliances for collective action, and creating safe spaces for dialogue, and considering the role of young women and future leaders. Women carry the burden of conflicts and should not only be in parliament, but be included in the peacemaking process, public service, community meetings, and dialogues. In conclusion, on behalf of South Sudan women and on my own behalf, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our partners for supporting the development of our policies on women, as well as National Action Plan on UNSCR 1325 and CEDAW. I equally thank EVE Organization for Women and partners for making this day possible. To ensure effective implementation of the 4 thematic pillars, a multi-sectional approach is needed. Effective collaboration and partnership between the government and its partners need to be strengthened within the extended transitional period and beyond. On that note, we urge our donors to continue supporting the well-meaning organizations for the advancement of women. The Women, Peace, and Security agenda is a game changer for women's advancement. This will only be possible if women and girls are protected and ensure that the country-owned structures and systems are effectively functional to deliver for men, women, girls, and boys without leaving anyone behind. So with these few remarks, I would like to take this honor to officially declare this 4th Annual National Conference on Women, Peace, and Security officially open. Thank you.